Hello, and welcome to this overview of historical romance books where one of the main characters is a secret writer. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. You're watching Random Olive Reads. A Duke's Guide to Romance by Sophie Barnes is book one of the Gentleman Author series. We have an impoverished Duke, Anthony, who is worrying about how to secure funds for his sister's future debut and is considering marriage to a wealthy daughter of a viscount. He stumbles upon a bookshop and meets a charming young lady, Ada, who works and lives there with her uncle. At first, he hides the fact that he's a duke and enjoys a friendship with Ada, and she makes an observation that romance novels, like those from Jane Austen, sell really well. And Anthony takes the idea back to his two friends and proposed that they should write a romance novel together to sell for money. Up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennett is book one of the Byronic Book Club series. We have instant attraction the minute these two bump into each other outside a train station. Artemis has left her position as a finishing school teacher to help her friend navigate the London season, and then she sets out to find a patron for her women's college. And she's a secret gothic romance writer. Dominic is the dastardly duke with a reputation for harming his deceased wife and trying to rein in his wayward 15-year-old daughter. When he decides he needs a wife, he only has eyes for Artemis. Good Duke Gone Wild by Bethany Bennett is book one of the Blue Stocking Bookseller series. Caro is a secret erotic novelist who was kicked out by her father, so now she works at her cousin's bookshop. She also has a tiny little crush on a very stern and serious duke. Dorian, that duke, has been also pining for Caro and is awkward as hell about it. He eventually needs to hire someone to help clean up his late wife's book collection, and Caro is sent for the job. She's keeping secrets. He's trying to uncover his late wife's secrets. It's a total mess, but the mystery is really interesting. Rules for a Rogue by Christy Carlisle is book one of the Romancing the Rules series. We have childhood friends and neighbors who reunite in this story after the death of Kit's father. Kit had left home long ago to pursue a career in the theater and was basically tossed out by his father. He's back in town to clean things up and kind of reunite with his neighbor and childhood friend. She has her own issues. She actually wrote a rebuttal to an etiquette guide that Kit's father had written, and so she's trying to publish another volume of her book. The Lady Plays with Fire by Susanna Craig is book two of the Goods Guide to Misconduct series. Actually, both characters are secret writers here. Julia is the secret author of a theater review column in a ladies' magazine, and she lives as a companion to an elderly lady. She writes a scathing review of a recent play, and Graham, the grumpy Scottish earl who actually wrote the play, is out for vengeance. To Attempt a Scandalous Lord by Liana de la Rosa is book four of the Once Upon a Scandal series. Flora's older brother is in the race for prime minister, but is being maligned in a series of political articles. He's focused on his work and wants to find the culprit of the articles, but is suddenly distracted when he meets Alicia, the widow of an earl. When Alicia experiences a wardrobe malfunction, which may lead to political ruin, he declares them to be engaged to save both their reputations. While Niall and Alicia are definitely attracted to each other, Alicia is keeping secrets from everyone. She is actually the anonymous writer of the political articles that are meant to provoke thought and incite action from the politicians. But this one's a big secret hanging over her head, especially since Niall is the one who is suffering from it. Her Scandalous Scott by Jennifer Haymore is book two of the Highland Knights series. This was previously published as Highland Awakening in 2015, and the 2023 version is updated with some content changes. Lady Esme is the socially awkward sister of a duke and also a secret author of romance novels. She's trying to do research at a brothel and she runs into Camden while he's on protection duty for an earl. He doesn't know who she is at first, but uncovers her identity while he's at the duke's dinner party. She's nearly engaged to a seemingly safe family friend and trying really hard not to succumb to Cam's advances. The Notorious Lord Nightfall by Lorraine Heath is book 2 of the Chessmen series. There is a scandalous book written anonymously about the seductive exploits of a Lord K, and the Ton suspects that the Earl of Knightley, known as Knight, is the man in the story. In reality, he really is the subject of the story, which is written by Regina, the illegitimate daughter of an earl whom Knight had jilted on their wedding day 5 years prior. We see a few chapters told from the past, interspersed with present day chapters, and learn more about the past and present relationship between Knight and Regina. Super interesting setup here. 6 Degrees of Scandal by Caroline Linden is book 4 of the Scandalous series. So, throughout this entire series, most of our characters had been reading this scandalous pamphlet that describes the exploits of a wealthy widowed lady. And in this book, we find out who the writer actually is. A Tale of Two Lovers by Maya Riddell is book 2 of the Writing Girl series. Lady Juliana Somerset is the secret author of a gossip column at the weekly paper and has written that Lord Roxbury may have been trysting with another man backstage at the theater. Roxbury's now questionable proclivities have made him a social outcast and forced his father to issue an ultimatum. Roxbury needs to get married within the month or be financially cut off. He doesn't really want to get married, and no proper ladies will receive him with his current reputation. So he seeks retribution from the paper and then finds out that Juliana is the cause of his downfall. The Devil and the Heiress by Harper St. George is book 2 of the Gilded Age Heiresses series. Violet and Christian are in a road trip escape from the suitor that Violet's parents have selected for her. Violet thought she was safe from all her parents' meddling after her sister got married, and so she is completely caught off guard when her father has agreed to a match with a Viscount. She runs away. She's aided by Christian, who's an earl, and he kind of has his own designs on her because he wants to force a marriage and collect her dowry. Of course, during the trip, they actually talk and get to know each other, so Christian feels really guilty about it. Violet is also maybe opening up to the idea of marriage, and she is very distracted by the handsome Christian, who she has written into as the main character of her novel. Other books that involve a secret writer, we have Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn, which is book 4 of the Bridgerton series. Our main character here, Penelope, is the secret gossip columnist, Lady Whistledown. Temptations of a Wallflower by Eva Lee involves a main character who also secretly writes erotic novels, and her husband has no idea that he's reading his wife's writing. The Rake Hell of Roth by Amelie Howard has a female main character who writes a pamphlet or column in the newspaper educating females about sexual intercourse and pleasure and all of those things. So plenty of secrets here with these 3 writers. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Hopefully you found a book or 2 to add to your TBR. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.